Hi, I'm Deborah Rosati, founder and CEO of Women Get On Board, and this is Women Get On Board in Conversation. Our goal for these series is to really offer advice and insights to women leaders to empower them with courage and confidence to lead and serve in the corporate boardrooms, on their corporate boards. So today, I am pleased to speak with Helle Bank Jørgensen, who is CEO and founder of Competent Boards. And before I say anything further, I am her biggest fan. I want her to know, if she doesn't know that, I have a girl crush on her. We are here to talk to you today, to Helle, about Competent Boards' Future of the Boardroom research that just came out in the fall time. And I know you're going to have so much to share with us. So Helle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And can I say ditto? I'm also your biggest fan, okay? I don't know, but
Love it. Love it.
thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. We work very collaboratively, and I love that. It's the community we built. So let's just talk a little bit about yourself, because you have an amazing background and experience to sort of give you the background to launch Competent Boards and the movement that you've created. So could you maybe start with a little bit about yourself, and then how the impetus for starting Competent Boards and kind of the evolution of where you are today?
Happy to. And again, thank you very much for having me. I am, as I said, a big fan, and a lot of your members are also part of the Competent Boards network and have the certification and designation. So love to be here. And yes, I also love that, with Competent Boards, I can share some of the global experience and the network that I have built over, dating myself, over 30 years of my careers, where I've had the privilege of assisting companies, primarily, well, I've not, both in Europe, North America, but primarily in those areas, but actually all over the world. And that's leaders that's now seen as global sustainability, climate leaders, and I've helped them in their transition journeys. And I'm now able to not only share about those companies, but also share some of the leaders that I have worked with that are part of the Competent Boards faculty. What else about myself? I now also serve as I also serve as the NASDAQ Center for Board Excellence and the World Economic Forum expert panel, where I'm an expert in governance and leadership and emerging multinationals, other roles as well. And then what else? I'm the proud author of the Amazon bestseller, Stewards of the Future, a guide for competent boards. And I'm actually writing a new book about the future boardroom of choice and not by chance. And that goes to what you and I are going to talk about.
Oh, I love it. I knew you had something up your sleeve. That's awesome. Like to get the first eyes view on it. Paula's very humbled by her background and experiences, but 30 years plus, and she really is creating a movement with Competent Boards, and I am proud to be part of that movement, Helle. So let's talk about, maybe just highlight what came, the fruition for Competent Boards and the evolution of where it is. And I can say I'm very proud to have the card-carrying designation of the, Global Competence Board ESG and climate change. So I am a huge follower and I love the work you do. But maybe for our audience today, you can tell us a little bit about the genesis of the Competent Boards program and where it is today.
Sure. And you can say we now, 6 year. And when I started, as I said, I've worked with so many leaders all over the world. And I've seen a lot of places where if we didn't have the insight in the boardroom and in management, then sustainability, climate change initiative was sometimes just pet projects. So I wanted to ensure that we had that insight into the boardroom, into the C-suite, into everyone in the company, so that everyone could make informed decisions. And one of the things I said was, how can you make informed decisions if you're not informed? And so actually during the World Economic Forum in Davos back in 2019, we started this competent board movement. And now, well, as you said, it's a movement. And you can say at competent boards, we provide global peer-to-peer, as you said, certification, designation programs, and also help in other ways, companies, advisory, to transform, I guess, both careers and businesses. And we equip leaders with knowledge, tools necessary to navigate this complex world we're living in. And particularly perhaps in the areas of ESG, sustainability, climate change, biodiversity, but also how it is interrelated and impacted by AI, geopolitical issues, cyber resiliency, how we pay people, etc. And we now have board members and business leaders in over 55 countries that join our global peer-to-peer education programs. And as you were saying,
let's pause and celebrate that, Helle, because that is a lot. And I can tell you, humble beginnings. I remember meeting you at Shangri-La Hotel, and you said, hey, I'm thinking of starting this. I'm going to do this virtual program. And you had a strong vision. And I'm like, okay, Helle, if you think you can do it, you go, girl. And that was over 6 years. That was way before your even, 6-year launch. So you've come a long way, you and your team, and you are making a difference. And I can't wait for your next book.
Well, and you're right. I also remember that meeting, and I remember a lot of people telling me, okay, you started a lot. You did the first green account in the world. You did the first integrated report in the world. You worked on the first responsible supply chain project. You've done a lot. This one, really? Are you really sure you want to do this one?
And look,
There was kind of like this, people were, but no board directors really are asking for this. And that was, as you and I was talking about that. And now, at that point, we had very, very few in our faculty. And I guess now we have over 180 of, I would say, the world's most influential and diverse board members and C-suite executives and investors and experts. They're all leaders in their fields that are contributing and engaging and having that peer-to-peer learning experience with all of those that are joining. And well, you tell me, but I've been told that it's unlike any other. And then
I am a big supporter. I get an opportunity to share the program because people ask me. So we could continue on this. Let's dig in. Let's dig into the Future Boardroom, the research, the report. Maybe, what are some, and I know it's going to be hard to synthesize, but what are some of the key insights that you'd like to share that came from the survey results that really kind of highlights the whole competent boards movement, stewards of the future? But maybe if you can just hone in on maybe 3 or 4 of those key insights, that would be great.
Yes, and I'm very excited about this Future Boardroom, and clearly plays into the book I'm writing as well. And in short, it's about the evolving competencies that's required in modern boardrooms and the critical need for board education, being that in the things we're talking about: sustainability, ESG, climate, biodiversity, AI, cyber, geopolitical issues, etc. So what the report does, and there will be more reports coming out, I'll just say, but the report looks at how boardrooms need to adapt and evolve, transition to respond to the global challenges such as climate change, social inequality, technology advancement. And I think now more than ever, and hence why we started it, there's a need for board of directors, for boardrooms, for companies to be forward thinking, to really embrace sustainability, ESG considerations, not as a silo, but as central to decision-making processes. So I think the report highlight a few areas that let me just, if I may, kind of like look at it and say, it's the competencies that includes the understanding of climate-related risk, social governance issues, and also these implications of the emerging technologies. So if I should give you, I think you said it's 3, but if I should just give you 5.
I'll give you 2 more, Helle.
Thank you. Of these key findings from the report, it would be kind of like strategic understanding of ESG issues. That the boards must comprehend how all of these factors impact the organizations, the risk profile, and the strategic opportunities. Number 2 would be stakeholder engagement and communication. How do we effectively communicate with stakeholders on all of these environment, social governance, sustainability issues? That's crucial for maintaining trust and therefore also reputation. Number 3 would be risk management. There's nothing new in that. But what's new is understanding this evolving landscape of risks, including those that are related to all of these issues we're talking about, climate change. Think about social issues. Think about migration, governance issues, right? Number 4 would be innovation, adaptability. How do we adapt? I think boards now more than ever needs to foster a culture of innovation to stay ahead of this rapidly changing business environment. Just think about geopolitical issues. We didn't talk that much about that, 3 years ago. Now it's top of mind. Think AI, etc. And then last but not least, number 5, global and also cultural awareness. We live in a global world. I know everyone is kind of like saying, okay, we're getting more this being kind of like only our own countries, but we live in a global world and everything is interconnected. So recognizing and valuing diversity and the global perspectives, I think will become more and more essential in this very much interconnected world. So short, it's a call, the Future Boardroom. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the call. Yeah.
Which you went deep into the report, and I know you'll share the link where the audience can find the link and research that you've done. Can you drill down a little bit more? There's going to be 2 areas I'm going to ask you to drill down a little bit more, if that's okay, because I know you want to. We talk about the digital age and we talk about digital competency, and it ranges everything from AI right through to cybersecurity to data governance. It's ever present in everything that we do. So, if you are board members, and I'm coming off, just to let you know, I just finished your 5 modules, or there was 5 topics in the AI from the top, and it was strategic and responsible AI leadership and governance. And I can tell you, even though I see it and I've, taken your ESG certification, it was a good reminder. And it reminded me as a director, what are your oversight? What are your insights? How should you be showing up in the boardroom? And so I'm not asking you to talk about that program per se, but these are concerns. These are real concerns that we as directors need to be showing up to make informed decisions. So, maybe some conversation around, those competencies that board members need to bring from a digital age perspective.
Yes, and you're so right. And we offered that module that goes, a bit deeper than we do in the big designation and certification module, because so much is happening within the AI space and also digital literacy. So perhaps, yeah, let's look at it. The first, digital literacy, understanding just the basic of the digital technology, the impact it will have and already have on businesses. And I don't think we're really aware how much that is.
And Helle, can I pause for a moment? Because there's I think through my, readings in all the materials you have out there, you talk about digital literacy. And one thing I like to liken it to very much like financial literacy.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you can delegate to other board members and say, oh, you're the digital guy. I'm not going to worry about that. That digital literacy is what all board members, as a minimum, should be showing up as.
Well, you're so right. And from time to time, I ask the question, what does the future boardroom look like? Will we have AI in a seat, or will everyone have their AI? And is it AI making the decisions, or is it you? And you can delegate a lot of things, but you're the one making the decision. You can put AI in jail? Really? Right? So you're the one who is responsible. And that's why you need to keep abreast of all of these digital trends, the innovation that affect, not only the industries, but also the business models, because we're seeing at the moment that business models are just changing all the time. And we are becoming more and more aware of the influence. I joked at some point and said to a group of board members, well, this is great. Now we have AI. We can just ask, instead of reading those 1,000 pages of reports, let's just have AI give us the one page. And then, by the way, can we not also just ask it what kind of questions we should ask about the material, right? Oh, and now we just send our full strategy and all of our confidential papers out to the world, right? And we have perhaps board members all around the table asking kind of like the same questions. That's not where we want to go, right? So I think that's a very, very, very important thing. And it's changing constantly. Like all of, as you know, Deborah, all of the different things we are discussing is kind of like all the time evolving.
I like that. And I like your analogies. So maybe we only have so much time. We could continue so much, Helle. You have so much to offer us. But maybe you can talk a little bit in your report. You talk about adaptation strategies in the report. And, maybe some actionable steps that boards or companies can take to be more resilient, inclusive, and forward thinking. Because you use that word a lot, forward thinking boardrooms and board members. Maybe if there's some adaptation strategies or resilience that come out of that they should be the lens in which board members can be looking at from an ESG, from a geopolitical, from a cybersecurity. What are maybe some strategies that you can highlight?
Happy to. So I think the first will be enhancing board diversity. When we recruit board members, think about the diverse backgrounds, industries, cultures, genders, ages, and implement policies that promote diversity and inclusion at the board level to ensure we get this. Of course, continuous education and training. Ensure we have regular training. This is not a done, tick mark, and this is continuous training. That's why we're saying, come back and make sure that we have also this corporate subscription that we now have, where we all the time are updating. And I think you need to have both the emerging trends. You need to have what's happening now, what's the emerging, what's happening within ESG, digital transformation, global market dynamics. And then I think you need to look at how do you encourage board members to participate also in this, what's going on. You need to strengthen the sustainability and ESG integration. Really integrated, so it's not, again, a silo, but it's integrated into your decision-making process, and make sure that you know your goals, you know your metrics, and you regularly review this against benchmark. And then you mentioned something, and I think that's actually perhaps one of the most important, culture, and you want to have that fostering a culture of innovation, and encourage that open discussion, idea sharing within the boardroom. And you want, of course, at the same time to also ensure you have the risk management, you have the scenario planning, and you look at all of these things. And again, in a holistic way, not by, okay, tick mark, tick mark, tick mark. And that goes to perhaps, and I'll stop, but stakeholder engagement, ensuring that you get that broad range of stakeholder perspectives into the boardroom, and the feedback that, again, you can say technology and digital transformation, you can also help in that way get that real into the boardroom and really have the discussions in the boardrooms.
You know what? I
Okay.
learned from each and every time, and we could continue our conversation, but I think part of this is to share with our audience today, our Women Get on Board community, is some key takeaways that I want you to highlight, but also where they can find more. And we are always posting out your latest publications, what's Helle thinking today, what's coming out of Competent Boards. So maybe what I'll ask you to end on, if I may, is what are key takeaways you'd like our audience to go away with today? And where can they learn more if they want to become more digitally savvy or more ESG sustainable in how they're showing up in the boardroom?
Sure. And thank you. Clearly, in terms of key takeaways, I would say continuous education that we need in this ever-evolving landscape of corporate governance. We need to stay curious, right? We need to really understand what's going on, and that's where continuous education is not only beneficial, it's actually essential, and it keeps us as board members abreast of the trends that's out there, the risks, the opportunities, and frankly, for some, also keep us out of trouble, right? So I think that is that, and of course, really have that discussion. What is the role of us as board of directors? What is the role of a competent board? What's the responsibilities we have? Are we really thinking forward? Are we really adapting? Are we really transitioning to what we need to go? And I think all the things we have talked about is kind of like part of that. And then, of course, competent boards, www.competentboards.com, and we have a lot of insight in the Future Boardroom, which is also a page on our website. We have the newsletters. I have a newsletter on LinkedIn, and we have different reports coming out all the time, and articles, etc. So go to competentboards.com and learn more, and I hope that join also
Follow the movement. Follow the competence movement.
Yes.
Helle, thank you so much. That's it for Women Get on Board. Thank you for joining us and sharing your insights with our Women Get on Board community. To find more resources for your board journey or to join Women Get on Board, we're now more than 850 members strong. Visit womengetonboard.ca.